Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, students and distinguished viewers on our YouTube channel and the Marian Education channel. Welcome to our celebration. Today we recognize the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month to honor all who served, including our very own veterans right here in Marion County. To those veterans watching, including those who are disabled, we say thank you. We are honored to have you among us for this special occasion. Normally, we would have thousands of students attending this event held at the Marion County Veterans Park in Ocala, but COVID-19 changed those plans. In this special video program, you will hear why students in Marion County Public Schools go to school on Veterans Day. You will learn how some of them go beyond the norm to recognize the sacrifices made for all of us. And you will enjoy the talents they have in many different forms, all honoring those who have and continue to protect our country and preserve our freedoms. Thousands of veterans call our community home, and we are blessed to have them right here in Marion County. For many of our students, they are connected with the armed forces because of these veterans who are family, people who have served or are serving today, including moms and dads, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, grandmas and grandpas, cousins, and of course, other relatives. When Francis Scott Key wrote the Star-Spangled Banner almost 200 years ago, he called America the land of the free and the home of the brave. And these words resound true today as ever. We can never fully repay our debt of gratitude to more than 1.3 million American service members who've died in battle, or the 1.5 million who were wounded. We can, however, as a nation of 330 million people, recognize and thank the 18.2 million veterans still living among us today, including 1.5 million right here in our great state of Florida. These words are inscribed on the Korean War Memorial in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And I quote, "Our nation honors her sons and daughters who answered the call to defend a country they never knew and a people they never met." End quote. These words apply equally to many of our World War I, World War II, Vietnam, and Gulf War veterans as well. And they apply to today's active duty service members, tomorrow's veterans, who are helping maintain peace throughout the world. Currently, nearly 1.3 million men and women serve our country around the world in the United States Armed Forces. Another 1 million serve in the 7 reserve components. And today, it is our privilege to say thank you to all of America's veterans, to let you know we appreciate you for your service and honor you for your sacrifice. The price of freedom is high. We cannot and will not forget those willing to pay it. Today, we celebrate America's veterans for keeping our country the land of the free and the home of the brave. To start us off this morning, please welcome someone who values our military from personal experience, our own Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Diane Gollett.
Good morning. It is truly an honor to celebrate our veterans and show our appreciation for their service to our country. I would like to thank our talented students and JROTC cadets for helping us celebrate all of you today. I am proud to say we have 276 employees in Marion County Public Schools who are veterans. They served in various military roles and defended our freedoms throughout the world. Today, these employees serve our students in a variety of roles throughout our district. I am grateful to them, and I know that you are as well. I am also proud of my 82-year-old father-in-law, retired Navy Captain Wayne Gullett. He is a former pilot who proudly served our country for 26 years, primarily in anti-submarine warfare. In Vietnam, he served aboard the aircraft carrier USS Coral Sea and later served as the executive officer of NAS Jacksonville and the commanding officer of NAS Brunswick, Maine. Today, we focus our combined efforts on our veterans to remember their sacrifices and share ceremonies just like this one that bring life to the stories of men and women who left home to fight for us and the freedoms we enjoy every day. I am proud, and we are honored to show our appreciation to our veteran community. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Gullett. Now, presenting our colors this morning are junior ROTC cadets from Westport High School and the Color Guard unit there. Westport is our largest high school.
Color guard, hold. Left, face. Present, arms.
As a pledge of loyalty to the United States of America, 31 words affirm the values and freedom our flag represents. The Pledge of Allegiance was originally composed by Francis Bellamy in 1892. It was supposed to be quick and to the point because Bellamy designed it to be stated in just 15 seconds. Over the years, the pledge has been modified 4 times, most recently in 1954, adding the words, "Under God." Leading us this morning in our pledge are Felicia West and Curtis Frazier, both students at Hillcrest School.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic of which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, and liberty and justice for all.
In 1814, the British captured a Washington, D.C. lawyer and poet near Baltimore, Maryland. That night, this attorney watched as Baltimore suffered bombing by a British fleet just offshore. Now, although rain obscured a nearby fort during the night, at daybreak, Francis Scott Key could see the American flag still flying strong from Fort McHenry. The fort survived the British attack, and Key drafted the words of a poem on an envelope and was released a short time later and went ashore with other detainees. The British fleet withdrew, and Key finished his poem and made a legible copy in a local hotel the next day. This young attorney showed the poem to relatives who immediately had it printed and distributed throughout the city on a handbill called The Defense of Fort McHenry. Within a couple of weeks, Baltimore newspapers published the poem, and it gained instant popularity and was renamed the Star-Spangled Banner. Our anthem has 4 verses, each ending with the line, "O'er the land of the free and the home of the brave." Performing our national anthem this morning is the Forest High School Chorus, directed by teacher Jessica Mongerio. Thank you. You may be seated. The Marion County Veterans Park opened in 1997 and is located where Fort King Street and Southeast 25th Avenue meet in Ocala. With more than 5,000 bricks, 200 benches, and 100 memorial plaques, visitors can appreciate the history of our veterans from the birth of our nation forward. The park's Exhibit and Education Center features quite the collection of military uniforms and memorabilia, all connected to Ocala in some way. For example, did you know Ocala had a military battleship named after it in World War II? Or the Greenfield Aviation School was located in a strategic target area? Well, check out this video tour of the center to learn that and so much more.
Well, welcome to our Marion County Veterans Exhibit and Education Center. We have a timeline of American history starting from the First World War, going all the way up through Vietnam. This is our first room, our rotating exhibit room, which covers some of our memorabilia from the 100th anniversary of the end of the First World War. This right here is a World War I nurse's uniform. In beautiful condition, has all of the original buttons and some of the original hand-sewn patches. This over here is a trunk from 1917, used by a soldier, and it has all of his original memorabilia in there, including a little ship he made from wood that used to shoot a torpedo out of the front end right there. And if you pull it back, I'm sure it still works if there was something in there to shoot out. But it's pretty neat. 100 years old and handmade by a soldier overseas during the First World War. The two most precious things in this room, though, are these two letters written by a soldier from Ocala, writing back to his sweetheart here in Ocala. The letters go into detail about the German breakthrough in 1918, as well as beautiful details of what life was like in Ocala back then, and him wanting to return home. This original World War I uniform, worn by George Lillico, used to hang on the wall in the park office for years until we decided to go ahead and have it framed and properly displayed. George Lillico was born in England, came to the United States, and then went to go fight overseas. So kind of a neat story with him. We're glad to have his uniform on display with us. So this uniform right here is donated to us from the World War I Museum in Kansas City. It was worn by a sailor on the USS Seattle, and as you can see on the hat, it actually says the name of the ship. And they did that up until the Second World War. That Second World War, they didn't want people to know what ship they served on for security reasons and stuff like that. So it's rare to see a World War I era hat with the name of the actual ship on there.
So this is our Ocala hallway. All the memorabilia in this hallway relates to Ocala. Our first display right here is actually the first display we ever put up in the exhibit center when we were preparing to open. This display is dedicated to Greenville Aviation School, which was in Ocala during World War II. It's actually located where the present target in Ocala is. That's where the airfield was. Greenville was here from about August of 41 up until I think September of 44, and it trained over 5,000 cadets during World War II. It's really neat. We're very blessed to have a collection of original photographs from some of the cadets, what life was like here in the barracks and stuff like that. The airfield with some of the planes that they trained in. These photographs are absolutely phenomenal. We also have the original yearbook from 1943 from Greenville. It's a beautiful glimpse into what life was like, at the aviation school during the Second World War. We also have some of their original stationery as well. So very neat collection, and I wish Greenville was still here that folks could see and tour it. But we're happy to have this collection to show everyone what Greenville was like during the Second World War. So this is another neat piece in our Ocala hallway. This is the original star banner from when the war in Europe ended, Monday, May 7th, 1945, with the headline, "Nazis give up, all German armies surrender." So it's kind of neat to have this star banner from when the war in Europe ended. It's a very nice piece to remember and reflect on the sacrifices everyone made. So this is another neat piece from the Ocala hallway. This life preserver is actually from a victory ship that was named after the city of Ocala, called the SS Ocala Victory. It was in service during the Second World War, and it was actually used by different companies and organizations after World War II, and eventually scrapped in the early 2000s. But this is the original life preserver from the Ocala Victory from when it was in service during the Second World War. And this collection over here was donated by a gentleman named Doc Schaefer. Doc Schaefer was born and raised in Ocala. He served on the USS North Carolina, which was the most decorated battleship of World War II. This collection was actually donated in 1997, but didn't get put on display until this past year. And then during that time, some of the pieces in the collection had actually deteriorated and gotten some water damage, unfortunately. But we were able to clean everything and put it together again in this beautiful display case. We also pulled some artifacts from Doc's scrapbook that he put together during the Second World War, including his honorable discharge from the Navy, some of his photographs, and this piece right here. This piece right here is a piece of a Japanese plane that was shot down during battle that fell onto their ship. So that it was an amazing piece. When I personally was going through the scrapbook and saw that in there, my heart fluttered to really see a beautiful artifact like that.
Thank you for coming on a tour of our Veterans Exhibit and Education Center. We have different exhibits that we're currently working on, so if you get a chance, please stop by, see some of the progress that we're making down here. We're open Wednesday through Friday, 10 to 1, so if you get a chance, please stop by. One of our volunteers would be happy to give you a tour.
2 years ago, some of our students had the opportunity to learn and visit a special exhibit that's mobile, the Traveling Vietnam Memorial Wall, which came right here to Marion County. With so many veterans in our community, we want to share this experience with you today, realizing the segment you're about to watch does not feature face masks because it first aired in 2018.
There are 47 flags around here representing veterans from Marion County who died in Vietnam and whose names are on the wall. One of the names on the flag and on the wall is also a Medal of Honor winner from Marion County, Hammett L. Bowen Jr. And we have an elementary school named after Hammett Bowen.
I feel like it's a really special event, you know, to see the people come out and support our veterans that died for our country. And seeing this wall right here is something I never imagined seeing. It feels special. Not too many cadets can really do this. Like it's hand-picked, and I appreciate this. Just seeing the people come out. It's really special.
Being out here to participate in the opening ceremony is an honor, and these guys really did sacrifice their lives for us to be here today and do something like this today. So to do something like this is an honor.
For those of us who served in Vietnam, there's a catharsis associated with recognition of what the veterans did. I was back 20 years before I could go visit the wall in Washington, D.C. And a part of that, I think, is that veterans who survived have a sense of guilt because you left friends there.
I was diagnosed with extreme survivor's guilt, drugs, alcohol, the whole bit. So with this guy right here, I just seen him. See, William G. Bean? He was a squad leader, and he took me under his wing, and he told me how to survive in that country and to hopefully come home alive. The thing So for a long time, he was the only friend I had.
It's very difficult to be in the presence of the wall, and you'll see a lot of emotion associated with it. And as I said, there's a sense of guilt among veterans. The vast majority of the people who served in Vietnam returned to civilian life and thought about what they had done and about the friends they had lost. And that's a burden that you carry for now 40 or 50 years.
These are the memories when I see these guys. When he was KIA'd, I put him on the helicopter because he was such a good friend to me. And then I became the squad leader. I hope I was half the man he was.
Heroes are among us today. They left families, children, and spouses behind to answer the call. A call to serve their country above self. A call we must remember and continue to honor. At this time, the Bellevue High School Band, directed by Ariel Reddick, shares its military theme song performance with a piece called the Armed Forces Salute. To our veterans, as you hear the familiar tune of your military branch in this performance, please know our school district acknowledges and honors you and your service to protect our freedom around the world.
1, 2, 1, 2, ready, and.
Something brand new to our ceremony this year is the Missing Man Table. Also known as the Fallen Comrade Table, it is steeped in symbolism and is featured in solemn ceremonies for fallen, missing, or imprisoned U.S. military service members. We encourage you to pay special attention as Bellevue High School JROTC cadets share their presentation with us today for the first time.
You may have noticed this table here in a place of honor. This table is our way of symbolizing the fact that members of our profession of arms are missing from our midst. They are commonly known as POWs or MIAs. We call them brothers. They are unable to be with us this evening, and so we remember them. The table, set for one, is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his oppressors. Remember, the tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. Remember, the single rose displayed in a vase reminds us of the families and loved ones who keep the faith, awaiting their return. Remember, the red ribbon tied so prominently around the vase is reminiscent of the red ribbon worn upon the lapel and breasts of thousands who bear witness to the unyielding determination to demand a proper accounting of our missing. Remember, the slice of lemon on the bread plate reminds us of their bitter fate. Remember, this is salt upon the bread plate, symbolic of the family's tears as they wait. Remember, the glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us this night. Remember, the single candle burns an eternal flame for their sacrifices. Remember, the chair is empty. They are not here. Remember, for those of you who have served with them and called them brothers, who relied upon their might and aid, remember, until the day they come home, remember.
It should not take November 11th to thank a veteran. In fact, we should thank veterans every time we see one, for without them, we would not be here today. For those wondering why Marion County schools are open today on Veterans Day, it is because we want students to learn about our veterans and appreciate their sacrifices. Years ago, our school district met with local veteran groups to ask if we should make today a holiday. With a resounding no, our veterans said they wanted students in class to learn, participate, and appreciate our armed forces. Otherwise, students might spend their day sleeping in, visiting the mall, or even at the beach. Regardless, there would be no connection to veterans at all. Fortunately, here in Marion County, we thank our veterans year-round for the roles they play in the lives of our students. Now, words mean so much when shared with others, be they lyrics to a song, rhymes in a poem, or parts of a sentence, or merely clusters of letters on a page. Words impact us in profound ways, especially when offered by children. Today we have 3 students who will share their own patriotic-inspired essays with us. They all attend Hammett Bowen Jr. Elementary, a school named for Marion County's only Medal of Honor recipient, Mr. Hammett Bowen Jr. Now, his story is posted in the Marion County Veterans Park at the top of the hill opposite the gazebo. When you visit that park, just look for the eagle and you will find it. Here are 5th graders Zoe Madison Mangeli, Chloe Miller, and Landon Allen, all students in Miss Patrica and Miss Powell's 5th grade classes.
What Veterans Day means to me. Veterans Day is a very honorable day to me. Veterans Day is the day when we honor people who risk their lives for us and others. As most attendants of the school, Hammett Bowen Elementary, know, this school is named after the brave man named Hammett Bowen Jr. Many people don't know the story of Bowen. Hammett Bowen died on June 27, 1969. Hammett Bowen saved 3 lives of his men. To me, this is very brave, and we should honor people like him. Another reason why I think Veterans Day is an honorable day is because of my stepdad, Toby. Toby was a retired soldier who told me and my kin stories about the war. He told us how he had been shot, poisoned, how he saved 2 of his friends from getting shot. He is alive, so it was a win-win. Because of Hammett Bowen and my stepdad, Toby, they are what made Veterans Day important to me.
Veterans Day. Today is Veterans Day. We celebrate all the way, and may we pray, for we thank our veterans today. They risk their lives. They save so many lives and win big fights and can't sleep some nights. Now let's stop the fights and turn on the lights to freedom.
Veterans Day. It's Veterans Day. Let's celebrate. Stop all these fights. World War III, that's too much for me. I can't live in these fights. All these people saving other people's lives. A lot of soldiers risking everything they have. I wish I could help them. They serve our country with their lives.
Students, thank you so much for those powerful essays and the words with so much meaning. I know our veterans appreciate them immensely. The Sky Dynamics Warbirds are a familiar and welcome sight in our community. This group features 4 vintage warplanes with local pilots who share their love and respect for aviation all throughout the year. Now, they usually fly over our Veterans Day ceremony high above the field where thousands of people gather. Today, though, their flyover comes to us from a previous year. They will be traveling from west to east in a traditional diamond formation, then a second pass from the south to the north in a missing man formation. In 1921, an unknown World War I American soldier was buried in Arlington National Cemetery. This site, on a hillside overlooking the Potomac River and the city of Washington, D.C., is now the focal point of reverence for America's veterans. At the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month each year, a combined color guard representing all military branches executes present arms at the tomb. The nation's tribute to its fallen servicemen and women is symbolized by the laying of a presidential wreath followed by a bugler's rendition of taps. In 1874, taps became the official Army bugle call. It is believed the first time taps was used for funeral service was for a cannoneer killed in action on a Virginia battlefield. The commander substituted taps for the traditional 3 rifle shots fired over the grave of fallen soldiers because he did not want to give away his military position to the nearby enemy. Military gun salutes memorialize our nation's fallen heroes in a disturbing yet very powerful way. The firing of 3 rifle rounds over the graves of fallen armed forces members and political leaders can be traced back to Europe, where fighting was halted to remove the dead and wounded. Now, once an area was cleared of casualties, 3 rounds were fired into the air as a signal to resume fighting. The United States fired a one-gun national salute on special occasions and during times of mourning for each state in the Union until 1841. That's when the salute was standardized at 21 guns. It's generally believed that gun salutes are set off in odd numbers because of an old naval superstition that even numbers are unlucky. So today our gun salute is offered by the Ocala Police Department's Rifle Squad. We thank them for their contributions and we honor former OPD Chief Greg Graham for his leadership. This is followed by Forest High School's Michael Jagello and Giohandri Robinson Santiago with a stirring rendition of Taps in Echo style. As you have just experienced, music conveys emotion perhaps better than any other art form. Music comes in many different styles and facets from many different performers, as you have seen and heard here today. As the finale to our first ever Veterans Day virtual ceremony, we feature Joanne Crowder. Mrs. Crowder is one of our own, a former music teacher. She's now the program specialist for art and music programs throughout the entire school district. As she performs, you will see photos from last year's Veterans Day ceremony. So here is Mrs. Crowder with "Oh, America."
Oh, America, you're calling. I can hear you calling me. You are calling me to be true to thee, true to thee. I will be. America, you're weeping. Let me heal your wounded heart. I will keep you in my keeping till there be a new start. And I will answer you, and I will take your hand and lead you to the sun. And I will stand by you, do all that I can do, and we will be as one. Oh, America, prairies to the sea, from your mountains grand and all through this land, you are beautiful to me.
One can put 1,000 to flight, but two, 10,000. There is strength in numbers, and that's why we are one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are united as Americans forever. Thank you for honoring our veterans today. Students, thank you for showing your respect, admiration, and appreciation to our veterans. On behalf of our school board members, Superintendent Dr. Diane Gullett, our 7,000 employees, and more than 43,000 students, thank you for joining us today. May God continue to bless this great country of ours, the United States of America.
Marion County Public Schools would like to thank our veterans for their service and sacrifice to our country and community.